Caitlyn Clark is going to spend all of next season playing in NBA arenas. We've got rival fans being furious that, you know, Caitlyn Clark is that she's getting new arenas, getting moved to new arenas. You've got people saying that they're pushing the fever. Why are they pushing the fever?
Caitlyn Clark isn't just making waves, she's flooding the league. Entire WNBA franchises are evacuating their home courts like someone just pulled a fire alarm labeled "Caitlyn's coming." Atlanta, Chicago, Connecticut, Dallas, Las Vegas, Washington, D.C. They're all scrambling to secure bigger venues just to handle the Clarkquake. Somewhere out there, Angel Reese is doom-scrolling, wondering why her name isn't plastered on these mega billboards.
One thing is very clear. The Indiana Fever is America's team. And boy, the haters, by the time this season is over, their heads are going to have exploded already. They're going to be so angry by the end of this WNBA season. I mean, it's going to be hilarious watching the daily meltdown.
Take a moment and let this sink in. WNBA teams are voluntarily leaving their beloved home courts just to accommodate one rookie phenom. That's not hype, that's history. 6 different franchises are moving out of their usual spots into NBA arenas, meaning every Indiana Fever road game is now happening in a venue that seats at least 15,000. And it's not just for show. Clark fills arenas like nobody else in the league. While some teams are still playing in what feel like converted rec centers, Caitlyn's presence demands NBA-level real estate. That's superstar territory.
There are 6 WNBA teams that have moved their games to NBA or NBA size arenas.
And let's not act like these are just slightly bigger gymnasiums. These are full-on arena glow-ups. The Atlanta Dream is moving up to State Farm Arena. The Chicago Sky, yes, the same team that hyped up Angel Reese like she was the second coming of Michael Jordan, is now humbling itself with 2 games at the United Center. Not for for Clark, because unless the Fever are in town, Reese might as well be playing at a community center. Even the Aces, with all their glitter and trophies, are booking T-Mobile Arena just to brace for the Fever frenzy.
Caitlyn Clark, the people's champion! Let's get it!
That's a deep one.
Bang!
Just announced that Caitlyn Clark and the Fever will be playing 41 of 44 games this year on national TV. They're coming to watch the other girl, right? Right?
Bang!
Teams are moving their games with the Fever to NBA arenas so they can sell more tickets. How about that?
Bang!
Angel Reese attempted a 3 this deep. I think she might dislocate her shoulder.
Bang!
You want some butter with that bread? Butter. Butter.
Butter pecan! Bang!
It's hilarious when you think about it. Just last season, these teams were acting like Caitlyn Clark was just another draft pick, chests puffed saying, "We don't need her. The league is just fine." And yet here we are. The same teams now scrambling for court space big enough to contain the Clark crowds. This isn't just rolling out the red carpet. It's demolishing the road and repaving it with gold bricks.
And a Dream moved 1 game to the State Farm Arena. Chicago Sky moved 2 games to the United Center. Home of the Bulls, home of the Blackhawks. In Atlanta, by the way, that's the home of the Hawks. Connecticut Sun moved 1 game to TD Garden. Home of the NBA Celtics. That's going to look really freaking cool on TV.
Special recognition goes to Connecticut. This franchise doesn't even have an NBA arena nearby, so what do? Pack their bags and shift the whole operation to Boston. That's right, new state, new zip code, new everything, just to make space for Caitlyn. That's not guest treatment, that's royalty-level hospitality. Now, imagine if Angel Reese tried to pull the same move. They'd probably laugh her all the way to a suburban middle school gym.
We're now at the stage where Caitlyn Clark is probably going to be responsible. I'm not joking when I say this. For like games where she plays in are probably going to be responsible for like 30% of the attendance in the WNBA.
And it doesn't stop there. The Dallas Wings and Washington Mystics are also relocating their Clark matchups to larger venues, complete with extra seats, luxury boxes, and, let's be real, bigger profit margins. This isn't a coincidence, this is strategic planning. Caitlyn Clark rolls into town and boom, it's not just a basketball game, it's an economic stimulus. One ESPN analyst even called her the WNBA's walking GDP boost. He meant it as a joke, but honestly, the numbers back it up.
There are teams that are going to average 3,000 fans at games, but have 17,000 fans when Caitlyn Clark shows up to town with the Fever.
Now let's check in on the haters. The same ones who were yelling from the rooftops that Clark was overhyped have suddenly gone suspiciously silent. Why? Because their arenas are sold out. Their jerseys are flying off the shelves, and their TV ratings are skyrocketing, all thanks to the player they pretended didn't matter. And Angel Reese? Still stewing over her not-so-unrivaled championship, watching Caitlyn get the spotlight, the schedule, and the stadiums.
Phoenix Mercury play in the NBA arena. The Seattle Storm do. There are 13 WNBA teams, 7 already playing NBA arenas. The other 6 are moving their games to NBA arenas versus the Fever. You can't acknowledge that she is the needle mover.
Before Caitlyn Clark touched down in the WNBA, the average game pulled in about 6,000 fans, basically enough to fill a medium-sized high school pep rally. But Clark, she's casually packing out 20,000-seat arenas like it's just another Tuesday. That's not just a boost, that's triple the usual turnout. These fans aren't buying tickets to see the local team. They're showing up because of her. League execs are practically tripping over themselves, openly admitting they'd sacrifice home court advantage just to cash in on the Clark frenzy. That's not hype, that's a walking ATM in sneakers.
I believe there's actually a debate on who was Rookie of the Year last year. Imagine being that delusional. Bang! People need to understand she saved this league. Powder, there's no TV deals, no ad sponsorships, heck, no shoe deals for you, Angel Reese, no McDonald's money. The league losing millions of dollars each year. She saved them from bankruptcy. Time to be grateful. Bang! 93% of her games on national TV. She's like that.
Let's break down the numbers. WNBA attendance spiked 48% last season, and unless your math is broken, that increase has Caitlyn Clark's name stamped all over it. Teams aren't just scheduling her games, they're orbiting their whole season around her appearances. The Las Vegas Aces, the same team that rolls their eyes every time Clark's name trends, have quietly shifted multiple games to T-Mobile Arena. And why? Because they know the Caitlyn effect is the real MVP. For all the eye rolls and cryptic tweets, even they can't deny she's the main attraction.
Now we've got some more information on the games and some perspective. Here we are. Indiana Fever put this out, man, just a few minutes ago. All eyes on us. 41 of our 44 games are on national television.
But the real madness starts when you turn on the TV. Caitlyn Clark has locked in 41 nationally televised games this season. That's not just more airtime than any player. It's more than entire franchises have had in years. We're talking ESPN, ABC, CBS, NBA TV. Every network wants a bite of the Clark buffet. It's a broadcast feeding frenzy, and nobody's showing up for leftovers.
The most television games in franchise history, the most national television games in for a single team in WNBA history. How about that?
Last season, the Indiana Fever weren't even an afterthought. They were basically that dusty book on the bottom shelf, ignored and unopened. But with Clark, suddenly, they're the league's golden child, front and center in every primetime slot. The same team that was buried in the standings is now the crown jewel of WNBA coverage. And you know that's eating away at players like Angel Reese. For years, they thought the throne was just sitting there, waiting for them. Then along comes Caitlyn, with her records, her ratings, and her ridiculous range, and suddenly, it's her show.
This also just came out. This is the national broadcast schedule right here against the sky. It's an ABC broadcast network television game. New York Liberty, it's a CBS game.
And just to stir the pot a little more, networks aren't just picking any Fever games, they're targeting the spicy ones. ABC made sure to grab the Chicago matchups because, let's be real, the Clark Reese saga is pure ratings gold. CBS locked in the Liberty clashes, while ESPN made sure to book the showdown with the Aces, because who doesn't want to see Clark roast the super team that's been pretending she's not a problem?
These are all going to be big rated games. CBS against the Sky, ABC against the Liberty. So you're seeing the teams that move the needles that they're going to play. That should draw some ratings anyway. I'm not going to say these other teams move the needles because they really don't.
But let's not ignore the growing tension. While Clark continues to dominate headlines and soak up every ounce of the spotlight, some of the league's veterans are starting to feel like background extras in their own movie. Primetime slots that used to belong to seasoned stars are now all Clark, all the time. And they're not exactly throwing her a welcome party. Imagine spending a decade grinding, only to watch a rookie snatch every broadcast slot before you can even lace up.
Bringing more and more fans to this league, people that have maybe never watched the WNBA before, and it kind of takes your breath away at points.
And the league? Yeah, they didn't help themselves. Last season, the WNBA tried to push this "everybody's a star" campaign, handing out equal screen time like it was preschool show and tell. But viewers weren't fooled. They came for Caitlyn, period. The numbers don't lie, and neither did the fans. Every time Clark played, the ratings jumped. Every time she didn't, crickets. The league quickly realized it wasn't about being fair, it was about being smart, and smart meant more Clark.
The WNBA needs to do everything they can to promote Caitlyn Clark. And I'm not saying do it at the expense of anyone else, but they went into last season basically trying to promote anyone but Caitlyn Clark for I don't know what reason.
So now, the WNBA is in a pickle. They need Caitlyn Clark badly. She's the ratings magnet, the box office draw, the name that keeps them in the headlines. But with every nationally televised game, the tension grows. She's not just outshining her competition, she's leaving them in the dark. And the more the spotlight follows her, the more obvious it becomes that the league's future might be a one-woman show. Let's just say Angel Reese and crew aren't exactly clapping from the sidelines.
Basically tried to do it to promote anyone but Caitlyn Clark. And that made no sense. Because for the long-term growth of the league, you can't just promote one player. But promote Paige, promote Caitlyn, promote Rivalry.
Analysts are already foaming at the mouth with predictions. At least one of Caitlyn Clark's games this season might crack 4 million viewers. That's not just impressive, that's breaking into NBA territory impressive. You know, the kind of numbers that make TV executives sprint into meetings with champagne and confetti. But it also throws one thing into sharp focus. Whatever rivalry Angel Reese thought she had with Clark is officially a one-woman show now. Caitlyn isn't just in the lead. She's lapping the field.
That is literally what they should be doing. You should be promoting every single player in this league, but not. And again, don't promote Caitlyn Clark at the expense of the league, but also promote Caitlyn Clark. Promote everyone more. Promote Caitlyn Clark constantly. Promote all these players constantly. Promote rivalries constantly. Promote these big games constantly.
Now, let's rewind a bit. Remember when Angel Reese was trying to snatch that face of the league crown back in her LSU days? She was serving side-eyes, flexing NIL deals, and acting like she already had her name etched in WNBA history. But take one look at the national TV schedule now, and oops, Reese didn't make the cut. Clark didn't just win that storyline. She burned the script, rewrote it, and cast herself as the solo lead. The co-star narrative collapsed faster than a weak zone defense.
America's team, yeah, guys, I mean, let's just be honest. This is exactly what they do in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. All right, this is exactly what they're going to do, and they do every year with the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because they draw ratings.
And for Angel, this shift has to hurt worse than one of her low-percentage turnaround jumpers. She spent her whole college career manufacturing a brand that screamed, "I'm the future." Every viral clip, every dramatic press conference, it was all curated to frame her as the next generational star. And her fans, oh, they were loud. But fast forward to now, and all those bold claims are suddenly on mute. Meanwhile, marketing dollars are rerouting faster than a GPS recalculation, straight into the Caitlyn Clark business.
I'm sure this is because of Angel Reese. That's good. That's really good. Seriously, no, not at all. The Caitlyn Clark effect is real.
Imagine the existential crisis Angel Reese must feel, watching her own team, the Chicago Sky, only book United Center games when the Indiana Fever are in town. That's not love for the home team. That's a glorified Caitlyn Clark tour stop. The Sky are basically renting out the big house just to be the warm-up act for the Caitlyn Clark experience. Angel's still playing in the game, sure, but she's background noise to the main event.
You get the point. All the Sky games are on big networks. All the Indiana Fever versus Sky games are on big networks. The Aces game, like I said, is on ESPN. The Liberty games are on big networks, the games against the Liberty. So, and there's a lot of Ion on here.
And while we're here, how painfully awkward must it be for the Sky's social media team? They're out here desperately trying to frame Reese as the heart of the franchise. Photo shoots, captions, custom graphics. They're doing everything short of setting off fireworks to keep her in the spotlight. But then, ESPN rolls out its game promos and, surprise, it's all Clark. No split screen, no dramatic rivalries, just Caitlyn. The same networks that once hyped the Clark versus Reese narrative have moved on because they know where the audience is looking. And it's not at the self-anointed Bayou Barbie.
How many of these games, guys, one of these games is going to hit 3 million viewers this year. All right, I don't know which one. I assume You can look at the sky and look at the aces, those two games, and think those are the games that could, in theory, break 3 million, maybe more than that. The All-Star game, of course, did a massive rating. What is it going to end up doing this year? So it's all going to be very interesting.
Now, don't get it twisted. Angel Reese is still getting her bags. She's got sponsorships, she's got social media traction, she's got the influencer game unlocked. But when we're talking about redefining the financial structure of the WNBA, Caitlyn Clark is the only name on the board. It's not about who has the flashiest Instagram. It's about who's bringing in actual dollars, viewers, and long-term change. And Clark isn't just winning, she's monopolizing.
I'm not going to say she's the needle mover. She's the needle. She is the needle. And it's just madness. It's madness that there are still people going out of their way talking about, complaining about this. Like, it's an objectively good thing.
This goes deeper than bruised egos. This is legacy warfare in pro sports. Legacy means power. The player who commands the crowd controls the league's future. Bigger deals, higher salaries, front page coverage, and a seat at every major decision-making table. And Caitlyn Clark? She's not just on that path. She's building the highway. She's not the future of women's basketball. She's the blueprint for how the league evolves from here.
The fact that every single team that is not playing in an NBA arena has for Caitlyn Clark, it genuinely just shows that the Caitlyn Clark boom is not in.
Let's talk about those 41 nationally televised games. That's not pretty good coverage. This has never happened in league history status. No other WNBA player, team, or dynasty has ever had that kind of spotlight. This isn't about playing favorites. It's about raw demand. And Clark isn't just meeting that demand, she's generating it. Her name is driving traffic, selling tickets, crashing websites, and forcing execs to rewrite their business models. People love to say the Tiger Woods comparison is exaggerated, but is it really? Just like Tiger pulled millions into a sport most of America ignored, Clark is doing the exact same thing. Former non-fans are now refreshing their phones for fever tip-off times. She's not just reaching basketball audiences, she's expanding them. And that kind of reach isn't just influence, it's transformational. She's not one player among many. She's a singular cultural force.
I thought that we saw between 2023 and 2024 in terms of college ball. Until the tournament, there was hype for Caitlyn Clark as she was breaking the records, but it wasn't like it was this same hype as it was during the tournament. Whereas now, it's looking like the freaking hype is gonna last as long. Like, the hype coming into the start of next season is greater than the hype starting her college.
And now the league is at a crossroads. You can either ride the Clark wave or sit bitterly on the bench while she transforms everything. This isn't just a moment, it's a movement. Teams that see it, embrace it, and market around it are going to soar. The ones still whining about fairness will keep getting buried in Caitlyn Clark highlight reels on every network. So while Angel Reese is busy snapping her next brand-sponsored selfie, maybe she should take a peek at the Fever's TV schedule. Because that team, the one everyone joked about last season, they're the hottest ticket in town. Clark isn't just playing ball, she's redefining it. She's setting the tone, lifting the bar, and rewriting the rules. And she's doing it all with a smile, a step-back three, and the calm of someone who knows she owns the moment. The WNBA isn't just evolving, it's being revolutionized. And Caitlyn Clark? She's already seated at the throne. The rest of the league can either bow down, join the tea, party, or keep pouting from the sidelines. Either way, the lights are on her. Are you excited? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.